I'm here with Brett Curry from OMG Commerce. We are talking Google ads, YouTube ads, and all things marketing.
What's up? How's it going? Dude, what a great event. Yeah, this is awesome.
Brett just finished his talk. What was the main takeaway you had from the last DTC Growth Summit from people contacting you after the event? You had connections with people after the event, right?
Definitely did. Yeah, it was mostly around, so I think everybody knows YouTube is huge, and most brands want to be on YouTube. They've maybe tried, didn't work, or maybe they've heard horror stories from other brands that it's tough. So most of the questions are around, how do I get my creative to work? So how do I go from being a meta-focused brand or TikTok shops-focused brand to now being successful on YouTube? So most of the questions I get are around, what do I need to do with my creative? How can I make my creative YouTube ready?
Do you have a tip about the length of the video that you could give people who are just executing on their own at home, sit in front of the computer, maybe they're sitting at the kitchen table and they're trying to do their first YouTube ad?
It's a great question. And so most of the mistakes I see people make is they try to take just any old ad from Meta or TikTok and run it on YouTube without any modifications. So one of the things we've seen, and I mentioned this from stage, we've never, ever seen an ad under 30 seconds scale if we're trying to track conversions. So if you're trying to get views and trying to get impressions, and like we worked with a lot of big brands, retail brands, CPG brands, 15-second ads can be great. It's low CPMs, people watch them. But if you're trying to drive conversions, 30 seconds or longer generally. And that sweet spot is like 30 seconds to 2.5 minutes, somewhere in there. Depends on what you're selling, depends on how good the creative is, all of those things. But a lot of the ads that are scaling right now for us are like 45 seconds to a minute. But they're fast-paced. They have a lot of typical UGC or creator content in them. They're showing rather than telling. So I'm seeing the product in action. I'm not just hearing someone talk about the product. But generally longer than 30 seconds is what we want. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So you just called me out basically, because that's what I do. I don't try to get conversion ads, and I'm always dragging Meta ads over. I'm always throwing them in. I'm like,
some of it. Now I can give you the formula for what ads do work from Meta to YouTube. You want me to cover that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear
so if you've got an ad that's ripping on Meta and it's over 30 seconds, it has a voiceover. So either someone's looking at the camera talking, or there's a voiceover there. It needs to have some kind of product demo, which a lot of them do on Meta. So I need to see the product, either like the product working or the end state of the product. And then it also needs to be structured where like you don't need text around it to convert, right? So sometimes a good ad on Meta is just a thumb stopper, right? And then there's text around it that drives the click. On YouTube, you don't have that, so it's got to be a standalone. And then it does need a call to action. So what do you want me to do? So at the end of that ad, you want me to click to get a demo? You want me to click to get this deal? Find out how it works for me? What, like some call to action. If it has all of those things and it's working on Meta, it will almost certainly work on YouTube, especially YouTube Shorts.
what do you think of the idea of taking a 9:16 vertical image and putting panels on the side of it with information? That's as a meta guy, that's I'm like, oh man, it's got to work. It's got to work. Doesn't work or no?
It does work. That's one of my favorite types of ads. So you take a vertical video. There's a few things you can do, and I showed one example today. You do like a 3-panel layout, right? So in a 9:16, or 16:9 rather, you could have 3 panels, right? So I like to have 2 vertical videos and like 1 static panel that shows the product. And now you're like going back and forth between either users or creators or whatever. The key is like you need movement and you need to use that space. So like talking to a new video editor the other day, and he's like, "Oh, I took your 9:16 and made a 16:9, and it was just the 9:16 with 2 blank panels." And I'm like, "You just reformat. Like that doesn't work. Like that. So use the space. Add some branding. Add the product. Get something else in there." Yeah,
I've totally done it. I'm guilty as charged. I've totally done it. And they fail. They did terrible.
Yeah.
But then I throw a logo on the other side, and I'll put like a little copy in this, and then it performs.
Yeah.
Then I see it work.
Even as simple as like I put the static products. I'm selling wallets. I'm selling popcorn, whatever. I've got the product there. Maybe there's a little bit of motion, logo. Maybe I got my reviews, like 50,000 5 stars, whatever. Like even something as simple as that can improve engagement and conversions.
Okay, a couple of questions, rapid fire. What is the largest retainer that you have charged recently to a brand?
Ooh, that's a great question. About $28,000, but that was for
In American money?
yeah, and that was just to talk to me on the phone once a week. No, I'm just kidding. That was for Meta, YouTube, Google, creative, retention, and CRO.
What does it look like for that
those
brand?
six
What are their revenues annual? What are their monthly revenues or annual revenues ballpark?
Yeah, they were approaching 100 million. Yeah.
So
revenue.
so you're talking 30 grand a month, but they're doing 100 million a year. So they're doing
Yeah, and we just provided 6 services.
8 to 12 million a month consistently, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
but
makes
like
sense.
For any single line item service, yeah, you're talking, 5 to 10K max, but you almost never 10K for one service. Yeah.
For a guy like me who comes to the event like this, what's the smallest retainer that you will accept?
Yeah, so we'll start retainers at like $4,200 a month because we got to have we're assigning multiple people to every account, and so our thing is we've got quite a bit of demand on our time, and so I know if I can at least get that, I can assign the right resources, and we can tackle a couple of problems for that brand.
What do you get for 4,200 a month?
Yeah, so that's going to be full service management of all of your Google and all of your YouTube. So it's Google Ads, it's your feed, it's your shopping, it's optimization, it's some creative on the Google side, and then it's full service on YouTube, except for the creative. We generally partner with other editors or creators or whatever, but we can guide that process. So that's all included in that. Yeah,
Where do I sign up?
omgcommerce.com and click on the Let's Talk button.
Awesome. Okay, a couple more questions. Have you met any clients at the DTC Growth Summit?
I definitely have, yeah.
What's the largest monetary amount, say monthly or yearly, for a client that you've met at the DTC Growth Summit ballpark? You don't have to go into specifics, but is it like a $2 million a year brand, a $5 million a year brand, $25 million a year brand?
100 million plus, and our retainer 17, 18K a month. Something like that.
You met a brand that was doing 100 million plus at the event, the DTC Growth Summit #1.
Yeah, it was awesome. Tremendous brand, become a friend. I think a friend of yours as well. And so, it was a beautiful connection.
I hope he gets 10 more.
I do too.
That's great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks
good
a lot.
stuff. Yeah.
Brett Curry, OMG Commerce.